Good evening, noble professionals. Most welcome to today's ProDev Hour. Your moderator is Madam Beta Uma, National Secretary, Education and Professional Standards and Discipline of Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union. Let us pray. God, our loving Father, we thank you this evening for granting us this time. Thank you for bringing us together. May all that we are going to be discussed be for the benefit of our own self and for the benefit of our learners, and that the nation may benefit all these. Guide us through our discussion. We pray and believing and trusting in your name. Members, last week we had Mr. Mulumba, who took us through how you can come up with a project. It was very beneficial. All of us were happy. I am very sure by now we have configured what type of projects our learners should be going through. Through SESEMAT, some regions have already done regional competitions in innovations. I am happy to get reports that this time the projects being brought have highly improved in their quality. Today, we are blessed once again to have a renowned teacher of mathematics ICT, but a professional in the field of ICT, has been doing a lot of trainings, has written very many books in mathematics. We have enjoyed some of his postings elsewhere, and this is none other than Mr. Kaziba. Some of us have been hearing about his name. We have been enjoying most of the articles he has written. Today, we are blessed that he has given us this evening. He's coming to share with us on how we can, after identifying the projects, how do we put it together now as a report, and how can we guide the learners to presenting them. Sir, I would like to welcome you to this forum. This is your own home. These are your colleagues. Please have enough time with them and share with us. You are most welcome, Mr. Kazibwa, to present to these noble members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Auma Betty. And thank you so much, Mr. Rogers and the whole team for the invitation for me to make a presentation. Good evening, dear teachers, and you are most welcome for this session. Like Madam Auma has introduced me, my name is Kaziva Stephen, and I'm going to be taking you through today's session. And our topic today is going to be how can we write a project report in a competence-based curriculum. So that is going to be our point of focus today, and it will take us around 45 minutes. And in case you have any questions, feel free to use the chat, or you can go on and raise your hand. By the end of this session, you should be able to guide learners in your schools on how best they can plan and write a project report ready to be submitted for scoring at a national level. And I'm going to first ask each one of you to look at my screen, and you just identify any word, any keyword you notice from this puzzle. Just write it in the chat. Any word. We are going to use about 2 minutes. Look at the chart and then identify any keyword you can notice from the puzzle. In case you identify the word, feel free to raise your hand, or you can go on and type it in the chat. Okay, Monica has said he has seen the word body. Rosie has seen the word body. James has seen the word project. Okay, there are about 15 words inside there. Okay, Jimmy has seen the word product. Sulaiman has seen pet. Okay, project. Okay, project records. Okay, that is Franco. Let. Okay. Yes. Now the words we are searching for should be words that are related to projects. Yes, so they should be related to the project and the topic of discussion. Okay, Innocent has seen budget. Moses has been able to see records. Okay, yes. So those are some of the words that we can notice. Body. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. So those words you are identifying are going to be very key in our discussion today. But before we dig deep, I want us to first understand the kind of model we are going to deal with. Whenever you are dealing with a project, there are three specific things, what you call the 3P model, that you need to know before you engage these learners in writing the report. Because in the report that you are going to be writing, the reports the learners are going to be writing, it must contain these three things. Number one is the problem. The problem is the challenge that is affecting the community, is the challenge that the learner wants to solve. That is the first step. Then the second step is the process. The process is the one that guides the creation of the product. So that is the second step. Then the last step is what you call the product. Product is a solution that the learner has been able to provide to the project that he or she has been doing. So in the report, we are going to be looking out for three things. We shall be looking out for the problem, the process, and the product. Now, the problem is obtained from the planning phase. Then we have the process, and then the last one is the product. For us to present a well-written report, we shall expect that all those three things are appearing in our report, and that's what we call a 3P model, and it is the one that we shall be using during the assessment of these projects, and it is one that we shall be looking at when we are dealing with the report. And all the problems come from what you call the sustainable development goals. So for anything that the learner is going to be coming up with, whenever you look at this report, as a teacher, as a facilitator, you must be able to identify which sustainable development goal is the learner dealing with, because all the problems that we are working on come from the 17 sustainable development goals, and our goal is to come up with the solutions to these problems that were identified that we have to solve in order for us to have our children competent, that they have been able to undergo through a competence-based curriculum. So anything that the learners are going to be doing is going to be rising from the 17 sustainable development goals. And what are the key areas in reports? Now, when we are writing a report, there are majorly 4 areas that we look at. We shall look at the title, we shall look at the introduction, we shall look at the body, and then we shall go on to look at what we call the conclusion. Those are the major areas that we look at when it comes to the report. We shall look at the title, we shall look at the introduction, the body, and then the conclusion. However, other areas we consider when we are writing the report, we look at the language. We shall be looking at the spellings, we shall be looking at the paragraphing, we shall be looking at the content, we shall be looking at the grammar. But also we shall be looking at the project records. This learner has been going through different stages. He went through the planning phase, he went into the implementation phase, and now is on the reporting phase. So we expect that this child has the records for the different activities that he or she has been carrying out in the process of carrying out this project. And then lastly, we shall look at the skills that this learner has been, that the learner has attained in the process of doing or carrying out the project. Now, the first page is what we call the title page. And what is the title page? Now, the title page will contain the major areas such that when someone gets the learner's report, he must be able to know what is this learner doing. So we expect that a good report will have a cover page, will have a project title, will have the learner's name, Under the learner's name, we shall expect that also the student ID is attached. These learners are given student ID. Those who are working on the AMIS for UNEB, you have noticed that these learners are given a special number, what you call the student ID. So we shall expect that the student ID is there on the cover page. The person who has been supporting this child, the teacher, or what you call the supervisor, or what you call the facilitator. So we expect that the facilitator's name is appearing. Then we expect the theme for the project that the learner has been working on. Then also shall expect the the school details, and then the year when this child has carried on. And these are the records that we expect schools to have, such that at any one point, when a supervisor, when someone comes in to check on you on the progress of how your learners are doing, you have all these details on what the learners are doing in your school. Now, what is contained on the title? A title must always be related to the theme, and the number of acceptable words should be between 7 to 25 words. So that's what we call a good title. So a good title, those must be related to the theme. Allow me now I'm going to first dive into what you call a theme. And what is a theme? A theme is a central idea. A theme is a broad idea. A theme is a central idea. When you look at my illustration, I've shown you that a theme is bigger. When you look at this black one, it is illustrating that a theme is bigger, is a central idea, is broad. So it is from the theme that we can be able to obtain the name of the project, and then we go on to obtain what we call the title. When we talk about the name of the project, we expect something very unique, something that the learner has been able to design or to create. So that's what you call the name. And then when you talk about the title is specific. It is descriptive in nature. So that is how we are going to be doing or carrying out. So we expect the theme, of which these themes have already been given to the different schools, and everyone has them. So a theme is something very broad, is something very big, and something very central, that anything the learner is going to be doing is going to be rotating around that particular theme. A case in point, this year the senior fours were the current senior fours, they are working on the theme of skill and innovation for sustainable living. Now, whenever you obtain a theme, you need to identify the keywords. And what are the keywords in the theme? The keywords are three. We have skills, innovation, and sustainable living. Now, these three keywords are the ones that guide the learner when he or she is carrying on this project and when he or she is writing the report. For the current senior threes who are in senior three now, their theme is on utilization of the available resources for community development. So from this theme, we need to identify what are the keywords, such that when we are guiding these learners, even when we are going to be scoring or writing the reports, these key things come out. We expect utilization of the available resources. So we expect them to look around their local community, to look around their community, around their school, to identify which resources are available. And we are looking at how are we able to develop our communities. It is always very bad for a child to study for 5 years, 6 years, but when he or she cannot add an impact to the community where he or she is coming from. So we want that this project the learners are going to be doing, the project the learners are carrying out, can be able to support the community where they are coming from. So we expect that the schools, the teachers, the facilitators, you identify those keywords that these learners need, such that you can be able to guide them in their report writing. Even you as a teacher, whenever you are marking or scoring or looking at the learner's report, you must look out for these keywords. Are they coming out very well? In case they are not coming out, then what can we do? Allow me now to take you through one of the words. One of the words we have is sustainable living. And when we talk about sustainable living, what does it mean? It means that the ability for us to adopt eco-friendly practices like using energy efficient appliances, reducing waste, conserving water, and opting for a sustainable transportation. Mean that when children are doing their project or they're in their report, we shall expect projects to rotate around that area. Is it on reduction of the waste? Is it about conserving water? Is it about opting for sustainable transportation? Is it about energy saving? Such that when these learners are doing those keywords we have seen within the project theme are rotating or are connected with what the child is doing. So it is about making the choice that our planet is protected, because no one is going to protect this planet. And one of our tasks is to ensure that we leave this planet much better than the way we found it. So if we leave this planet worse, it means that our children or people who will come after us, they will be on a disadvantage. So that's why now all the projects that we are doing should be looking at how can we protect the planet where we are, and how can we develop the communities through the utilization of the knowledge that we are learning or that the children are obtaining from the schools where they are, such that they can be able to create an impact in the communities where they are coming from. Now, we shall expect that the key elements of sustainable living involves making eco-friendly lifestyle choices, using efficient energy appliance, reduce, reuse, and recycle to minimize waste, conserving water. So these are some of the things we shall expect from what the children are going to be coming up with. Then next, we shall look at what we call now a title. Now, I've told you already that a title for your project should be between 7 to 25 words. So any project title that these children are going to be coming up with, you must count how many words does the title have. So you can count that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it is within the acceptable range, because remember, when you are writing a title, it should be short enough to attract the attention, to deliver the key message, because the title communicates what is the child doing, what problem are you solving. So those are the key things we expect from the title. What are you doing, and what problem is the child solving, and what solution are you able to offer? Then when we go from there, we shall look at the project name. The project name is something very short, is a creative piece that the child can come up with. It is something very unique that talks about what the child is doing or what product the child has come up with. So this is one of the projects that one of the child is undertaking, and the title is developing a sustainable and eco-friendly pit latrine sanitizer and deodorizer. So what is the child looking out for? Is looking at, when you visit very many schools, you'll find that they have pit latrines, but the smell coming in from those latrines is not really favorable. So you can even detect it from a distance. So the child is looking at how can he or she, how can the child improve the sanitation within the school environment? So here she's going to be creating a community project that is going to not only support the school, but is also going to support the community. Once she comes up with this product, the school and the community are going to be helped, and consequently we shall be supporting the development of our communities using the knowledge that we are obtaining from the school. So this is now a sample. This is what we call the title page. Like I've told you that a title page will contain what we call our project title. And when you look here, this is what you call the project title up here. Then it will contain what is the name of the child, that this is the child that is doing it. Then this number here is what we call the student ID, that even if this child leaves your school and goes to another school, his or her results can easily be detected in the system, that this child is maybe has changed school and in this particular school, and this is the ID, because this ID even shows us that some scores were maybe submitted and this is what they have done. And even he can add that because one of the requirements for a child to obtain a certificate must have done project work. Then I told you must put the supervisor or the facilitator, who is supervising, who is facilitating, who is supporting this child. Because if you have about 200 children in senior 4, one person may not be effective in monitoring all these children. So we expect that these children have a number of teachers that are supporting them with their project work. Then we also encourage that let's have a year of doing the project. When did this child start the report, or which year did the child do the project? Then also indicate the theme such that someone who is reading knows the direction, knows the compass that he or she is going to be following when he's looking through the child's work. So this one can be our title page, as simple as it is. So you can even put those since all of us are coming from school, feel free to put even your school badge for more clarification, and such that people can as well know that this is the school that is really doing this. Okay, I'm continuing. Okay, then the next page we shall expect after your title page, we shall expect us to have the table of contents. The table of contents guides us when someone is looking through the child's work. You can be able to know that on this page, there is the project identification. On this page, there is this. On this page, there is this. On this page, there is this. So we can now have in our report, we shall have what we call the table of contents to guide us what is contained within the project. Then from there, we are going to look at the introduction. Now, the introduction contains mainly 4 to 5 things. And the first one is the introduction, or what we call the project identification. Then we have what we call the name of the project, objectives, purpose, and then the justification. So those are the things that are contained within our introduction. And what do we look out for in the introduction? Now, introduction, this is a sample of what we call an introduction. When a child is starting to write his first page, now we shall expect that in the introduction, these children at least read some literature about the project, because some of these things that our children are doing, they have been done by some people. We expect them to make some research on these things when they are reading. So you can check this child, that this child went on and read about different articles. And one of the articles the child read it from World Health Organization. And it is reported that 1.7 million deaths in children under 5 were linked to environmental factors. Now, the moment you see such a citation, it is an indicator that this child really made some research. Because remember, in the first phase, we always look out for literature review. Did this child read something extra, or the child just came up with the idea without making research? So us seeing this kind of citation, it is an indicator that this child went on and read something beyond. So it means that the child was able to make research. Furthermore, you can notice that this child, under the introduction, we put what has the child read about and what are people saying. So you cannot even, we went on to quote, because remember, when we are writing a report, we need always to appreciate other people's efforts, because some of the information we may be using in the report may not be our information. So we need to quote, where did we get the information? Do those problems really exist? Yes. So you can note that in 2024, this child went on and looked at for Daily Monitor, and it was reported that students, pupils of one of the primary schools were sharing a latrine. So there is a problem being identified. So mean that in the introduction, we need to see what is really the problem that this child is trying to solve, and which solution is the child going to offer. Even you can notice that he went on and even quoted. Now, which kind of referencing do we always encourage? Since we are training children for future research, always we encourage using APA approach. APA stands for American Psychological Association, which means that when we are when we are citing, when we are appreciating people's work, we can always start with the name of the person and then the year of publication. In case you want, even you can add the page. So we need to start training these children on how to write good reports such that they do appreciate, because we are avoiding plagiarism. Let them not just go on the internet, copy things and then put in the report without appreciating the efforts of other people. So now this is just a simple introduction about what the child is doing. It must contain some of the literature that the child has read. Maybe in case the child went on and read some publications, read some books, read some newspapers, found out information, be it from community members, let the child indicate where he or she got some of that information that is really putting into the report that the person is doing. Okay. I'm going to continue. Okay. Then this is the second sample of this is the second sample of just introduction, what we expect in the introduction of the report. This is another child that is working on creating fertilizers, and this is the introduction the person is having. So that is just a sample that we expect that our children can write. This is a sample number 3. Now in sample number 3, I've come in to take you through, because in the introduction, we need to see what is the motivation. What triggered this child to come up with that project the person is that he or she is carrying out? You can notice that this child looked at the diapers that are always being thrown in the community and asked, can we have a solution to these diapers? Because one of the things that take long to go out of the soil could be these diapers, because you'd find them, even if you try to burn them, sometimes you cannot. So when you find a solution, it means that you have solved a community problem, and even you can come up with a solution that can help to minimize such things in our communities. So those are the different introductions that we can have. Now, next when we are writing our report is what we call the aim. The aim is the overall intention for the project. It is the reason why the child is doing the project. That's what we call the aim. What is the intention? Why is this child doing this project? Now, when we are stating our aim, always one of the action verbs we do encourage the children to use is to. So to is an action verb, to develop an affordable, because you are giving a reason for carrying out something. So to develop an affordable and eco-friendly sanitizer. So this is what we call the aim of the project. Then we have what we call the objectives. When we talk about objectives, we are looking at those specific steps you will take to get there in order for you to obtain your goal. In case I relate it to football, those people who enjoy football, you may have your goal that you want to win the game. That is your goal. I want to win the game. Then you need to lay out strategies on how you are going to achieve or how you are going to score such that you get the goal you want. So objectives are the specific steps you'll have to take, that you know what, I'll have to pass my ball from this person to this person, from this person to this person. So those are the different steps the children must carry on in order for them to be able to achieve the aim of their project. What are they going to do in order for them to get that product that they are looking out for? What are they going to do in order for them to obtain the solution to the problem that they are wanting to solve? So those are what we call the objectives. And when we are setting these objectives, or when children are writing these objectives in their report, we expect them to follow the SMART acronym, which stands for specific, they must be measurable, attainable, time-bound, and realistic in nature. So to develop a natural and sustainable sanitizer using locally available materials. Remember, when we are doing projects, we always encourage that let the children do using the locally available materials. When you look at wood ash, every school can find wood ash. When you look at rosemary, some schools have rosemary. Maybe you can lime and urea, they can be some of the things that this child may need to get. But wood ash, rosemary powder, they can be obtained from anywhere. And this child is going to come up with a solution that has been tested and it is really doing well. So here, these are the steps that we are looking out for. From there, we have what you call the purpose. When we talk about purpose, purpose is like the reason for doing something. Take an example, the reason for why you were created. That's what you call the purpose. Each one of us has a purpose. Why were you created? So we are looking at, why is this child doing this project? What is the purpose? So purpose is, why are we doing this? Reason for doing something. Reason for existence. That's what you call the purpose of the project. So this is the other component that we do expect to be following after our objectives. So from objectives, the children will go on and write the purpose of the project. Then from the purpose of the project, we shall go to what you call the justification. Now, justification explains why a project is necessary. It explains its benefits and how it aligns with the aim or the goal of the project. It gives us the relevancy of the topic under discussion. Why is it necessary? Is it really worth it for us to invest time, for the child to invest time? That's what we call the justification. And justification will contain these things. It will contain the problem, the purpose, the relevancy, evidence, and feasibility. Those are the things we look out for when we are looking for the justification. So I've tried to highlight those bolded things are the ones that show you what are some of the things, the problem that Pitula twins in many schools and communities suffer from poor maintenance, resulting in unhygienic conditions. Yes, some of you, if you start around those, you can notice that the smell coming in is not that good. You may see that house flies are almost everywhere. If you go to some of those schools that are still using pitch latrines, you'll be facing some of these challenges. But we can provide a solution to it using cost-effective materials and using the materials we have within our reach. So this is what we call the justification for the project. So I do expect that for the project that we are writing, or that our children are writing in their reports, they'll have the justification, and the justification will look like what you are seeing on my screen. But the most important thing, the justification should explain why the project is necessary, what are the benefits, and how it aligns with the project goal or aim. Okay, so I can continue. Now, that is the introduction. What I showed you was introduction. Now we are going to go into the body, or what we call the content. Now, when it comes to the content, we shall expect to have 6 things: the activities undertaken to carry the project, the resources mobilized, the achievements, problems, how the problems were being handled, and the lessons or skills that this child has been able to learn from the project that the child has been doing. So that is the body, that is the content that these children are going to be doing. Now, one of the things are the activities undertaken to carry. So under the activities, we expect this child to have planned activities on how he or she has been carrying on the project. For the current senior 4s, they received their project theme last year, and we expect them to have planned better for the different activities they are going to be carrying out. So this is just a simple plan of the different activities the child has been doing in the project process. So there is thinking about the project idea, coming up with a plan, title, purpose. So we can think in that direction. So we expect to look at the different activities, the different dates. Here, please encourage your children to write the date when they carried on the different activities or the math, that probably on this day, this is what I was able to do, because at school level, schools have different days they have allocated to doing these projects. So this is a sample of planned activities. Then we have what we call resource identification, the resources that children use in their project. So now when we are identifying the resources, after the child has been able to identify the problem, we need to look out for what solution is the child going to offer. And now after knowing the solution, then we look at what materials do we need. So for this particular child, these are the materials the child needed. And he or she must go on to give us what is the use of each of the materials that he or she is wanting to use for that particular project. Then we have number 3, what you call the achievements. Now, this is one of the child, and this child is called Megan Adikin. And this is the achievements is what the child has been able to obtain from the project. So this is the product that the child came up with. And when you look at the side here, this is the testing. This child came up with a fertilizer that she made. And now this person here, this is another child that is called Asasla Pearl. Now, Pearl is working on a project on how to utilize small space to carry on agriculture. But now this Pearl was doing her project using the box. But this Megan, since we need a lot of collaboration, say that, you know what, can I test my fertilizer using the beans you are planting? Pearl is doing some project, is doing her project. So Megan is using the fertilizers she manufactured to test whether her product works well. This photo was taken on a very sunny day during afternoon, so it didn't come out well. But you can notice, because we have kept on monitoring how the beans and other crops are growing, so we can notice that the product this child has come up with is really doing well. So now we can build up from there. So we look at what has the child been able to achieve. Achievement is like what has the child been able to come up with from the project he or she has been doing. And now when we are writing our achievements, we need to look out for we need to detail them that successful completion of the project. Now another child who was working on gas, because children are doing different things. There's a child who was working on gas, and the child told us that he was able to see the gas being formed. I have not showed you that project for the child who was working on a biomass, was working on a biomass project of producing gas to be used for cooking. But he was able to see the gas coming out, however little it was, but at least he was able to see gas, and now he has been able to identify what could have been the challenges that rose because of the project that he or she worked on. So this is how we detail the achievements. Then we have what we call the challenges. Challenges are the hiccups that the children do face in the process of carrying out their project. Because for some of these activities we do, children will face some challenges. In some schools, you find that probably the resources are not sufficient. They're not enough. You'll find that even the time, I know that there are some schools that even have never allocated time for the project. Now, those are the challenges the child has to put in the report, that acquisition of materials was not easy, that the time allocated for the project, some schools only allocate just 1 hour for the project. But if it is something the learner has to do well, it means that the time may not be enough. And sometimes you find that even the time when the project must take place is time that is not so convenient. It's a time whereby many of the teachers are not within school or they are very far. So that means that such challenges that the child faces must be detailed, such that when someone is looking through the report, all those challenges are being seen. But also, we are not looking at only people who mention challenges without mentioning the solutions, because we do expect that these children are critical thinkers and they must come up with solutions to the problems that they are facing in their daily schedules. So one of the solutions, we expect that the children will tell us the solutions, that what are some of the solutions. So you can find that some of the solution that the child had to create an extra time outside the official schedule to be able to work on the project. And this is what we encourage the children to do. Let them look out for the solution to the problem, because time may not be there, but now they are looking out for the time in order for them to be able. So this is another thing we expect to see in the body when they're doing. Then we have what we call the skills. Now, in the process, the competence-based curriculum has what we call generic skills. And for any of the activities these children do in this curriculum, we expect that there is some skill that must be attained. It can be creativity, it can be communication, it can be ICT proficiency, it can be mathematical in nature. So all those skills, we do expect that in the process of carrying on this project, at least there is one or two things that the child has been able to attain. And we obtain these skills that the child details from the generic skills. So we do expect that the child is going to tell us what skill has he been able to attain. One of the skills can be collaboration. Because when you are working on that project, we do expect that you are going to collaborate, you are going to work together with other members, with other community members, because you have to engage maybe the teacher, you have to engage the other fellow student, you have to engage this one and this one, such that you can be able to work on something very good. So we expect collaboration in their project. So if the child has been able to collaborate, that is one of the skills that the child has been able. We expect them that even when they go to purchase or to obtain some of those materials, take an example, sometimes these materials are with the lab technicians or are with the teachers. We expect them that they are going to communicate very well with these people. So we expect them to be polite, that maybe excuse me, teacher, may I have my project work, may I have this and this. So there we are looking at the communication skills. Even the research skills, because the student may have to make research in order for them to come up with it. So we have to detail. So let the child write all the skills he or she has been able to obtain in the course of doing the project. Even if they are 7, even if they are 8, as long as it is a skill. Is it research skill? Is it planning? Some of the children even can go on to learn the ICT skills of designing, that I was able to design this and this. I was able to type. Those are skills, hands-on skills that the children are being or attaining in the process of doing that project. Then so those are the major things we expect in the body and then the content. Now we expect, because in the report, we shall expect what we call the records. Because in term 2, they start with the planning phase, they go to implementation. So in the whole of that process, they have been doing something. They have been visiting the teachers. They have been maybe buying certain things. They have been doing a number of activities in the process. So we expect that all those records are there within the project report. We expect them to have a budget. We expect them to show us the activity schedule, the stakeholder engagement. All those things we shall expect them to be detailed within the project. And how do those records look like? This is a sample of the project of one of the child called Ineza Melissa. And this is the simple budget that the child came up with, that is he or she used for his project. Then we expect to have stakeholder engagement. Now, these are like letters. Now, when you look at this letter, this is the letter the child wrote requesting the lab technician for some of the property in the lab to be used in the course of doing the project. Because remember, these children study letter writing in English. So we expect them to be able to engage different stakeholders. So here the child is engaging is engaging the person in charge of the laboratory to support the person. This person is called Joy Chigain. So he's asking the person, the lab technician, to help them or to support her with maybe some of the materials we have in the lab, because we must utilize what we have before we go on to buy another thing. So this is the letter of engagement. So we expect that such letters, it can be to the head teacher requesting him for this, or to the parent, or to this. So we expect them to be detailed within the child's report. We expect them that these children have the receipts. Yeah, in case there's anything they bought, then we expect them to have those receipts detailed or put in their report as evidence that there is something they bought for their project. We expect them to have some posters. Now, this poster was designed using Publisher. So when a child goes on to design a poster using Publisher, it means that the child is learning some ICT skills. So those are the skills we want these children to attain. Okay. Now, we expect these children to have the product. Now, this child here that I'm displaying is called Kalyango Sheldon. Kalyango Sheldon, at school or some of the schools where you are, you have seen that there's a lot of plastics, sodas, those plastic things that children throw. What did the child do? The child went on to use the plastic bottles to come up with what you call a paver. And here on the left, this is the paver that this child came up with. But what did the child use? He went on to use the plastics. And then she came up with the paver. And this is the paver the child came up with. What did she use? She used the sand, and then she had to melt the bottles, and then she came up with a paver. There is creativity here. Here, there is use of the local resources, the bottles that are being thrown. She's solving a problem of pollution. So we expect that the products the children have come up with are included within the report that the child is doing. This is another child that for this child, so these are some of the products. So for whatever thing the child is doing, all the products, let the teachers support the children with the phones. Let them, in case the school has a camera, let the school support this child with those different things such that the child can come up with those different items. But also sometimes before these children go on, now this child is called Joy. Joy had to first come up with a prototype on how the product can look like before she went on to do it or look out for the different materials. So in case the child came up with a prototype, let the child put those prototype into the report. So we want to see the whole process. I told you we look at the problem, we look at the process, and then lastly, the product. Then these are the materials. That one I showed you. This is just still a sample budget. And now the person who was making plastics and other resources, this was the budget that she went on to use. So you can look at the plastic waste. This one said picked from school. Heat source from school, from laboratory. The mold, that's what she bought. Gloves, that's what she bought. And then the spatula. So this is the budget that child used in order for her to come up with her product. So these are the things we expect. Then the last one is what we call the conclusion. Now, in the conclusion, we shall expect the evaluation or assessment of the project. How has the project been? Then, are you having some recommendations to the project that, yes, right, you have done the project? Are there certain things do you recommend that maybe in the process of doing this project, I would recommend that maybe another person that is going to do something, maybe you try out this and this. So maybe this time around I used maybe bottles. What about when I use other plastic materials? Will they give me the same product? So those are some of the recommendations you can make. Then the other one is reference. Because we have to encourage our children always to read. So we expect them to have some reference materials for some of the things they have read. So because remember, we expect them to have the subjects integrated in their report and other things. Then the last one is the appendix. So this is what we expect in the conclusion, and this is just the sample for the reference. In case the child went on to read some reference materials, we expect the child to give us the different references, maybe books that the child read, maybe in case there are websites, maybe in case there's a YouTube channel the child looked at. Let them appreciate and acknowledge people's work such that they can pass the plagiarism test. So those are some of the things we look at in the project report. And then we look at what we call the language. Now the language, these are in order for a child for the report, we expect that the number of errors are minimal. And we always check out for spellings, we check out for the grammar, we check out for the content, the language. Yes, so those are some of the things we shall look at. So we look out for spellings, we look out for punctuation, and we look out for the tense errors. So, but here you can use an online tool to check out the child's report, whether all those things are being fulfilled. Okay, so these are some of the things we can include: the appended audio, video recordings, approvals, acceptance, interview guide, and then the rest. And how is the plan? I think some of us have been able to see this plan for carrying out the project. And then for project submission, we do expect that for senior threes, by the 12th of September 2025, all schools have been able to submit their projects. And then for senior four, for this phase of implementation, we do expect by 23rd of May this year, you have been able to submit. Then we shall expect that the reporting phase, senior fours are working on it now. That is what we expect them to do in this term. So they are working on it, and its deadline is going to be loading very soon. Then for dissemination, probably we shall have another session that where we shall talk about that. So allow me to maybe show you just one sample report. I think I can use, this is one of the reports. So children can use word problems. So this is one of the reports of the child, that what the child did. So you can check out some of those things I've been talking about. You'll find that this child has been able to include. Remember, we said that all the activities this child has been doing, from planning, implementation, let the child include them in the project, the different subjects, the topics, and how they're related to the project that this child is doing. So this is just a sample. Then we expect them to have daily reports on the different activities. Maybe it can be weekly, it can, depending on the school's schedule and the report. So these are some of the things we shall be expecting to have in the report, and all those things that have been able to show you in the report, in the different slides that have been running. Otherwise, allow me to end at this point, and I want to thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back to the moderator in case of any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you very much, Stephen, for these elaborate presentations you have given us this evening. This has been what everyone has been longing for, and I feel it is a contentious subject issue that members may wish to pose certain questions, and I would like to request that those who are having questions and you like to ask, please use this time to ask for what you have not understood. Your questions are welcome. Raise up your hand and you would be able to talk. I would like to request Joseph to unmute yourself and talk. Joseph, you're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Betty. It's not a question, but I'm only requesting. Can he share with us the sample report so that we can peruse and maybe make some 2 or 3 correction on what we have already? Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. On our UPSTU website at YouTube, you will always get all these recordings posted there. There is a sample already as given, unless I've not understood you, but I give him time, he will answer you later. Thank you. May I welcome Grace? Grace Zandvasia. If I pronounce your name wrongly, forgive. Please unmute yourself and go ahead to ask your question. Yes, Grace, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Please. Yes, welcome.
Okay, thanks, Stephen, for the presentation. I'm just wondering two things. One, when students have made their reports, how are these things submitted to UNEB? Because we have the checklist for projects that we use for scoring, and then there's the actual report they submit. Is it that these reports are scanned and sent in photo form? What about the photos that we take? I just want to understand how this information goes to UNEB per student, how UNEB receives it, so that we support better. Then two, I have learners with special needs who are visually impaired. In fact, I have one totally blind student, the other is low vision, but she depends on Braille. So that student has also been able to participate in project work, has done what he could, what he knows best, and has been able to write his report with the support of friends. He uses Braille and he tells them what to translate, of course, and they support him. And also the school has a resource room. How are the learners with special needs supported?
Thank you. Stephen will answer. Okay, please. Thank you. May I request Moses? Moses, unmute yourself. Go ahead to ask your question. Yes, Moses. Can Moses hear me? Unmute yourself and ask the question, please.
Yes, hello?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to, one of my questions is related to the one of Grace.
Oh.
In some schools, we don't have these cameras, and the report that is made is a bit substandard. Now, if we send these reports, sample of them, and we send them, how will they be marked? And perhaps, like in other schools, there are things maybe all that, and those other schools that which do not have cameras may not be in the advantage of being scored at level. Then secondly, the other one is just a request, like not only the sample of the report to be shared, but just slides, even slides to also be shared, so that we can have it at our disposal. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Moses. Your question is taken. Stephen will be preparing to answer them. As I welcome Daniel from Kasese. Onasi Daniel, unmute yourself and go ahead to ask your question. Yes, Daniel, can you hear me? I know weather today has not been very good in many parts of the country. I can see Daniel's hand up. If he will be ready, we shall give him time. Allow me to invite Stephen. Please, you could respond to a few of these concerns raised.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madam Betty. I'm going to start. Someone wanted me to clarify the difference between the aim and then what you call the purpose. Now, aim is specific. Aim is the intended outcome. Then when we talk about purpose, is the reason, is the motivation behind that aim. So that is the difference between the two. So aim is more or less like the intention. The purpose is the why, the reason for doing something. Then someone who asked about, who said, how are these reports being assessed? Now, scoring of reports is school-based. So we do expect that schools or teachers at the different institutions, you score those projects, and then you submit your scores through the UNEB portal. Then go on and keep those reports. Those who listened in to the first lady during the release, one of the things that is being worked on is to ensure that you receive supervisors at your different institutions to check on how you are implementing and you are doing those different assessments. So all the details you are collecting or what the children are coming up with, you are going to be receiving supervisors. When the area supervisor or the person who is going to be coming at your school, when he comes, those are the things you'll be taking note of, that this school has the report, this school has this and this. So you are going to have supervisors that are going to be coming from one area to another to check out on the different products, to check out on the children's work, to check out on the assessments and everything. So you keep your reports, you keep your records and let the teachers score, because we do assume that teachers have the integrity to do the right thing. So the UNEP is going to just be sending supervisors and the Ministry of Education. I know you have this term, those who are within the central region, I know you might have received some supervisors in your different institutions who have come in to check out what you are doing at your school. So they will be checking on the different assessments you are doing, and they will be asking for those records to check that what you have submitted to UNEB is actually what you have on the ground. In case things keep differ, then the school will be questioned. Then for special need education, I'm going to ask the person to get in touch. Then I'm going to refer you to the special needs department at UNEB such that the children can be supported. Special need children have a special department that handles them. So I'll refer you to that department because they are assessed differently, not the normal way we assess these other children. So they have a special assessment they carry on to check out on some of their skills, and they have special people that can come to your school to assess them at different levels. Then I think those were the questions. The other things that people are asking, we shall be sharing them with you, and then you'll be able to receive the sample reports, the slides, and other things. We shall share them with you such that you can be able to support your schools, because we are looking at let's support each other such that we can effectively implement the curriculum. Okay, over to you.
Thank you to you. Thank you, Stephen. I would still request you give us 2 more questions, and then we can call it an evening. Ondonga, you had your hand up. You're welcome to ask a question you wanted to ask. Mr. Komakech, are you still there? I think maybe you have already answered some of the concerns they have had. I know, members, we have so many questions in this field of projects, but we shall be trying our best to find avenues where we can have more discussions. And feel free, even on our UPSTU forums that we have, you should be asking some of these questions. And now I'm seeing very many hands up. I don't know. Kakuru, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you so much, Ndugu Kazimba. Mine is not in a situation, but one I want to appreciate Kazimba for the work he's doing. At least the last year I attended one of his sessions. This year, he came to my school to receive a great change in terms of project implementation. I hope, Bwana Kazimba, there is one thing I want you to clarify on the issue of learners doing like a project in group work. Is it okay when they give the same report? If you can clarify that for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Baroni Collins Mondo. Baroni Collins Mondo, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, for the opportunity. I have a question. I'm wondering if I have like 3 learners doing the same project and they write separate reports, is that fine? Because sometimes we have learners doing the same project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There is someone, Samsung. Samsung, you're the second person now. Mr. Samsung. We have always requested that you write your names. You write your official names so that it's easy to.
Okay. Hello?
Yes, please.
Yes, good evening, Madam Auma.
Good evening, please.
Yeah, I have one concern here. I started attending, I'm called Benson, a ballet from Little City.
Oh.
Yeah, I have started attending the discussion from the beginning up the end.
Thank you.
And when I look through the project report, I have realized that it looks similar to the project report which we wrote at universities. And the way even it is presented, the APA formatting and the referencing and so on, looks to be that. I think if we were to guide these students based on that, there's no difference. That is I need clarification of that. Then secondly, as my colleague has said, these projects here, I've seen that sometimes you may have a large number of students who can happen to do the project. If it maybe there are 5 students doing the project, are they going to write you have grouped the 5 students and they're doing the one project like that? Are they going to write a different report, or maybe they just combine and write the same report on what they have done? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Your concern is similar to somebody's concern. Now, Mr. Mukalele Rogers, I'm going to allow you to speak after Kiza Alex, and we ask Stephen to answer, and we call it an evening. Yes, Kiza Alex. Alex Kiza, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, please, welcome.
I just thank you. Good evening there.
Good evening.
Yeah, my concern is not that much different from the other colleagues. It's all about the other issue of how we can be handling these learners. Like if the project work is on individual level, like not being combined. So like we need just some guidance on that issue. How can go by it? Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Mukalele, please wind up questioning this evening. Mr. Mukalele Rogers.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
hello?
you. Thank you, madam. Maybe I wanted to just see, maybe I can come in later. I wanted to again remind, maybe I can say just within a minute. I've noticed today we have a good turn up on the call. Yes. And I just wanted there's someone actually who called me earlier in the day and was asking about this other program we are having and was saying that, do we want project reports to be submitted, or if someone has a project plan, or he just has not yet finished the project, but by the time maybe by next term, when we are having the regional exhibitions and what, if by then he thinks the project will be done, but right now the deadline, because we are having so I wanted to give some small comment about that, and then maybe we shall be wrapping up. Yeah.
It's okay. I would would request that you wrap up after Stephen giving answers to these questions given. Prepare to wind up with those messages. Thank you very much. May I welcome you, Stephen, to answer some of these questions given?
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Betty. Now, the first one about how we can handle projects. Number one, at this level, we do individual projects because on the child's certificate, it appears as an individual project. So we do not do group work. We do not do projects in group. Group projects stop at senior 2. So once a child goes in senior 3 to senior 4, they must do individual work. So the project should be individual. But one of the solutions we can have is that when you are handling projects as schools, please do not handle big groups. The cases where you are having children coming up with the same projects, it is possible, but they cannot have the exact report, and they can't have the exact reports. So the reports must be different. And how can we how can we solve that? I would encourage that schools, even if you have 200 learners, even if there are 300, I want you to divide the children you have at school with the number of teachers that are teaching your school. A case in point, let me say you have 300 children at school. And among those 300 children, maybe you have 10 teachers. Let me say 20 teachers. What you do, say 300 children divide by 20 teachers. So that means that every teacher can manage 15 children. It depends on the number. Or in case maybe you are 300, the children are 300, and you have maybe a staff of about 40 teachers, then divide and say every teacher will take about 8 children. So let us divide the workload. Let's not leave the work to only one person. When we share the work and say that every teacher is going to be responsible for 5 children, every teacher is going to be responsible for 7 children, like it or not, the work is going to become very easy. It's going to be very easy for us to monitor what the children are coming. And it may not even be possible to find children in the same group being monitored by the same teacher having exactly the same thing. It can happen when the facilitators are different. But as a teacher, you can encourage them to think beyond. But in case they are coming up with almost the same project, they shouldn't do it in a group. Let the child sit down and do an individual work, because at the end of the day, we have noticed that when children are doing things in the group, they sometimes leave work to one person to do. So they do not involve. So we want that independence. We want them to acquire that skill of independent learning, the ability to research on their own. So that is the skill we are looking out for when we say that we want them to do it as an individual. One of the generic skills called self-directed learning. So we want, as an individual, let them learn that particular skill. But when they're doing group work, like it or not, one person will take on the biggest part and the rest will sit on to look on. Yet we want these children to be competent in that particular field. So we discourage group work and we encourage doing the work as an individual. Let them research on their own, and you'll find that the products may be a bit similar, but the report will be totally different, the experience will be different, and other things. Then, whether the report we do here is related to the reports at the university, not really, but what we are doing is that we need to prepare the children for the world that exists. We are in a world, those who have read some research, the world we are in now is called a ban world. Ban, B-A-N-I, brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incompressible. It keeps on changing. We are no longer in the VUCA world. So things keep on changing. So we want them that let us go with what is currently happening, such that when these children are at university, they don't find things totally different. So we are preparing them for the world. Though at the level where they are, we don't bring in a lot of things that literature review, this. We bring in little, let them write something little, but as long as it is a bit related to what they'll find in the future. Then I've talked about techniques of handling these projects such that schools do not spend a lot, such that one person does not really find it hard, is through sharing the work, collaboration. We need a lot of collaboration. If you are to effectively implement the new curriculum, like it or not, you must learn to collaborate as a teacher, as a school, with your neighbor, with your communities. Otherwise, you are going to keep on struggling. You're going to keep on finding challenges because you do not want to collaborate. So let's learn to collaborate. Let's learn to work as a team. Let's learn to work as a department, as a group, such that you can be able to obtain the different products that we may want at the end of the day. I think that is it. I do submit.
Okay. Yeah.
I said I like to invite Rogers to say a word or two. Then later Stephen now concludes.
Okay.
Welcome,
Okay.
Rogers.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so I wanted to just give some announcement to the members who are on call. Maybe some of you were not there the other day when we were launching the exhibition, the Apps to Science Innovation Project competition. Now, Apps to has created a forum. This is like a platform for some of you. Your learners are doing very good projects, but after they have done them and you've scored them, no one else is seeing what you are doing. So there are many opportunities like science fair and others, but this is another opportunity that is available. Now, what I wanted to clarify is how do you submit a project? Some people are still asking. So you can go to the apps, you can go to Google and search for UPSTU. And when you go there on the website of UPSTU, you'll be able to see where there is this yellow thing, submit project, or you just tap the link that is on WhatsApp in the flyer. So when you reach here, you'll see somewhere there is a video also here showing how to submit, but you click on this button, submit your project. So it is going to take you to a form. This form is the one we want, is the best for you to submit. Although the committee is considering other ways of submitting that, we shall also inform schools as we get closer to the last deadline. We are going to be communicating, but for now, just come and fill in. The form is short. You fill in the school name, you fill in the district where you are coming from, because the exhibitions are going to be regional. We shall have regional exhibitions and also national. So the dates are going to be communicated to the people who are going to start to fill in. So first register your project. Then the union or the committees, they will call you and they will inform you that your project has been selected to come for the exhibition or the competition on this date at this venue. So just for now, just make sure you submit your project before deadline. The subjects that are there, whether it is agriculture, ICT, these are the subjects the competition is trying to address. Then if there is another integrated subject, then the theme, Mr. Kaziva has talked about the theme. But in this project, we said that we can leave the theme open. You can use any theme, either a theme from UNEB or a theme from the syllabus book. Just put there your theme that you have been using. Then the problem statement, the justification, Mr. Kaziva has talked about those, how long the project takes. This is a simple form to fill in. Now here where there is a final product, describe your product. Now we have some two fields here which are a bit technical. They are not compulsory, but it's advisable that you fill them in. A demo video link, if you are able, record, because the people who are going to vet projects, they will want to select the projects where they are sure and they know that these projects are really good. So, and again, don't fear that your project is small. Just submit it. Now, how do you just record a video using your, maybe a phone, a simple clip, or you can take a good picture showing the project. Then we are encouraging you to use Google Drive. Now, Google Drive is available online. If you have an email, you access what you call Google Drive. So you use Google Drive, you upload your video there. We didn't want you to just upload it on the phone because it might fill up the space in our drive. So just go to Google Drive, and then you can be able to upload your video that you are having. Now I had a video here. I have a video here and project folder. So I'm going to upload. I did this one some time back, but I'm trying to do it again so that people can. So I'm going to go to my desktop. I have a folder called the competition. Now these skills, they are part of the curriculum. The curriculum talks about ICT proficiency and ICT integration. This is an opportunity for you to practice what the curriculum is telling you. This using Google Drive is a very simple ICT skill that you should be able to use or to guide your learners. But if you are failing, please try to call. We can support, or try to get support from your ICT teacher at school, so that you know. So you upload the project report and the video on your drive, in your email, on your Google Drive. So after that, what we want is the link. Okay, what we want is the link. So you come here and click on share. There is an option for sharing. Let me hope. I'm about to finish. There's someone who is trying to share his okay, so sorry, someone is trying to share his someone was trying to share when I was sharing. Yeah, I'm about to let me get back again here and then I share. I hope people are seeing my screen. Yes, I was coming to this part of sharing. So you click on share. Then you have to change this link to allow anyone with the link to view. If you just copy the link when you have not changed it, if you send us the link, we shall not be able to see the project. So you get that link and put it here. Now that is a bit, I know, some teachers, it's their first time, but collaboration, some of us who use internet, and we have been doing this for many years. So even your learners, when they reach university, they will need to know how to use this. Yeah, so, but in case it is difficult for you, still, you can submit your project by just writing then even the project report, you put it here. In case you have a challenge doing that, you can just send the two on email. There is an email that we have provided. You can just send an email. I think the email can be easy. There's an email which is on the flyer. It is education@upstu.org. So you can just attach your report and send to that email, education@upstu.org. I think it is somewhere also here. In case you're having a challenge, you can do that. You can just send to that email there, and you'll be supported. But if you are able to fill in through the form, this is the email, and there are some WhatsApp contacts here that you can use to get supported. Yeah, so upload your files on Google Drive, get the link, and after that, come and fill in the form, put those links there, put the teacher's name, and then the contact number of the teacher and email of the teacher, and then you submit. So when you do that, already many schools have already submitted, but we still need many more because the deadline is in 2 weeks' time on 30th April before the term closes. This is an opportunity for you to submit. Now, someone was asking about the whether if my project report is not ready, you can submit your project plan. Submit something at least where we have the project title, justification, the product you're looking at, even if you have not finished your project, you submit something, either project plan or project report. If you have already a project you have ever done, submit something so that the people who will be doing vetting, they will understand what your project is all about, so that they can be able to select you to come to pitch, to exhibit at the competition next term. So Madam Auma, that's what I wanted to clarify. Maybe you can supplement on that, and we see that we get more projects coming in. And teachers on call here, please share with other teachers in your schools, the other departments of agriculture, biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics. We want projects in all those. Share with them so that they can submit projects, and then we shall have the exhibition, the competition, and awards and other things. Yeah, thank you very much. That's what I wanted to clarify.
Thank you, Rogers. I think you have been elaborate enough, and I'm very sure our teachers are preparing to send those projects. We need integrated projects. You may not call it agriculture, physics, but we need an integrated project, a project that at least can cover all the subjects, not all the subjects, but at least many subjects. There are other projects that cover geography, there are others that will cover history, but what we want is to see our learners able to come up with innovations that they understand and appreciate. That is what we are up to. May I invite, I don't know if Stephen still has something to say as we conclude this day. Stephen, you're welcome to conclude.
Thank you so much, Madam Auma Betty and Mr. Rogers and UPSTU for the invitation, and thank you so much for organizing workshops to train teachers. Thank you so much for all the efforts. I have been following some of the sessions, and I want to invite all the teachers who on the call to keep on learning and embracing these professional development courses. They have been really very good. The UPSTU has had quite a number of sessions, and like Mr. Rogers has told us, all the recordings are available on YouTube. Whenever you find time, please visit their YouTube channel, such that you can keep learning, relearning, and unlearning. There is a lot to learn in this competence-based curriculum. I know A level is here, and some of these things are also going to apply at A level. So let's keep on learning, unlearning, and relearning. But also it is always very important that let's collaborate. And as teachers, please let us research as much as we can. Let us keep supporting each other such that we can close the learning gap across the different schools and across the different regions. I want to thank you so much, and I want to thank UPSTU for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Big applause for you, Stephen, for this evening. Members, let's pray. God our Father, we thank you very much for this wonderful session we have had. Thank you for all the concepts that we have had. Thank you for the energy you've given us to stay up to this time. Keep us together as we prepare for the next session that takes place next Thursday from 8 to 9 with another very good title. I mean, the content we shall have next Thursday will be good. Let everyone come back and we continue. I pray, believing you've heard us in the name of our God. Thank you very much. Good evening. Bye, everyone.